So baby J2570 says, hey Chuck, so how would you target your smaller area? Would you post Google ads and Facebook ads and select the smaller towns around you, or is it more of the Google business listing preference settings? Where exactly can we go to capitalize on this strategy? So when it comes to Google and other types of advertising, but let's just stick with Google, you have organic and you have paid. Organic is when you're just showing up for people who are searching and you're not paying Google for any kind of advertising. If you're doing paid, it means you're doing local service ads, which are also called Google Guaranteed, or you're doing Google ads, used to be called AdWords. So there's two ways to pay and there's two ways to play for free. And the free version's organic, paid would be considered advertising. So this person's asking, how do I target a smaller area? And it's on a video where I said targeting big cities might be hurting your business. And let's just start with the organic side and put the advertising and the paid side aside for a second. When you're going for organic visibility on Google, the main place that you're playing is Google Maps. Google Maps is the search engine for local businesses. And when somebody goes online and searches for something local, like a contractor, they're searching on Google Maps. Google Maps is what Google shows them, and it's based off of proximity, meaning the closer that the service provider is to that searcher's location, the more likely they are to show up. If you are in a really large city like Chicago, and you are living right smack dab in the middle of it, and you configure your Google business listing, which is your Google Maps listing, if you configure that thing to target the entire Chicago area, you might think that's good because you want to work in that whole area. But what you're doing is you're spreading yourself out really thin with Google. And if somebody's searching for your service on the other side of Chicago, there's 0% chance that you're going to show up because there's 500 other options between their location and your location. So when it comes to marketing on Google Maps, you really want to set your targeting in your Google Maps dashboard. You want to set your targeting really small around your neighborhood. And I have a client in the middle of Chicago who does remodeling, and when we set up his marketing, we targeted his little neighborhood, and he gets about 10 leads a month just from his Google listing in his neighborhood. If he was trying to target the entire city of Chicago, he probably wouldn't show up anywhere, maybe not even in his neighborhood, because he's telling Google, hey, I'm covering this huge area. And so Google's saying, okay, cool, you're covering this huge area. You're competing with 1,000 other contractors. So these ones are better than you. We're going to show them first. But by narrowing his targeting to just his neighborhood, he's telling Google, I only serve this neighborhood. And Google's saying, oh, well, in this neighborhood, this guy is the most relevant. He is the most focused on this area. Let's show him first. So when it comes to the organic side, you want to target smaller areas based on competition level. If you live out in the middle of nowhere and there's no competition around you, well, then target a huge area. But if you're in a high population area where you have a lot of competitors, the smaller and tighter you focus, the more powerful your marketing will be. So that's the organic side. You target as little, you want to compete with as few other companies as possible to win organically. Okay, put organic aside. Now let's talk about the paid side, which is advertising. Advertising, you're paying to be visible. So with this strategy, you typically want to target your entire service area and capture as much of the market as possible because you're paying to play. You don't have to compete off of relevance with Google. It doesn't matter what Google thinks of you. It just matters that you're paying them. If you pay them, they'll show you. So that one's pretty simple. With paid, you want to target a big area. With organic, you want to target a micro area. And the only caveat with that is if you're in a rural place and you don't have a lot of competition, then you can target a much bigger area. It really has to do with the level of competition rather than the population. I get a lot of people asking in the comments how they can work with my company and I. There's always a link in the description on ways that you can get a hold of us. So if that's what you're looking for, go down to the link, click it, and we'll talk to you soon.